Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I just want to give you guys a little update on my DHK Maximus and some of the stuff that I've done to it to up the performance. Now, there's going to be stuff that I recommend, and then there's going to be stuff that I don't recommend. And the stuff that I don't recommend, I only did it for my own personal preference, just to see how well the truck performs. So in my previous Maximus video, I've replaced the front diff gear box, and if you guys want to know how to do that, I'll leave a link up here. And this is something I don't recommend or don't advise you guys on doing. What I did with the suspension was, instead of using shock oil, I used 10W30 motor oil, and it actually works pretty good. But I don't recommend you guys doing that because motor oil has additives in there that will eat away at the seal. And I'm not too worried about that because it's fairly cheap, parts are available, and I could just fix it anytime. So that's something I did to the suspension on all four, but I don't recommend you guys doing it. I only did it for my own personal preference. Moving along, I relocated the ESC to the upper deck. In between here is a Velcro so that it has some cushion to sit on. And it also stops it from moving forward and back when I do have a hard crash in the front or the back. And I also put a zip tie just to give it extra security on top. Also the switch, I relocated to the center. And I also put the switch going this way so that if I crash really hard at the front or back, it's not going to flip the switch on me. Moving along, if you notice, I have screws here, here, and behind the screws are locking nuts on all of them. Same with the steering plate. I put screws with the locking nut, and I use Loctite on all of them. This way I don't have any more issues of the screws backing out during my bashes, because the Maximus, if you guys own a Maximus, you know this thing will lose screws on a fly. So moving along, the pinion gear. So the pinion gear and the spur gear. So when I first got this truck, the stock pinion gear ate away at the plastic spur gear. It literally stripped it. And when I upgraded the spur gear to a metal spur gear, the metal spur gear ate away at the stock metal pinion gear. So here's the stock pinion gear. Come to find out that this metal is like a soft metal, and it eats away really fast if you have a hard steel pinion gear, and that's what happened to me. So what I did was I went to my local hobby shop and I upgraded the pinion gear to a 17-tooth hardened steel pinion gear. This is the brand, and here's the part number. So if you guys are interested, there it is. And moving along, the center diff. Alright, so this is something I do not recommend or advise you guys on doing. I did it for my own personal preference just to see how well the truck performed. So what I did with the center diff, I took it apart, and instead of using diff fluid, I put shoe glue in it. Yeah, I put shoe glue inside my center diff to lock it. And it actually works. It locked the center diff. So now if you notice, there's a little bit of give before all the wheels turn. Same if I lift the front. There's a little bit of give before all the wheels turn. I only did this so I could have equal amount of power going to the front and back when either side are off the ground. So hopefully I could get some serious wheelie action with this, just like the two JOB cheetahs I have down there. Also, my steering servo is an aftermarket 20 kilogram steering servo. The brand is called Power Servo. Has an aluminum horn, And this servo is really good. It's really good. It does the job and is very responsive. That Cheetah Generation 1 also has the same setup steering servo, and it's lasted a long time. It hasn't malfunctioned or stripped or anything. It just works really good. And let's see what else is there. I think that's basically it. So screws with the nut on the lower arms, 10W30 motor oil in the shocks, which I don't recommend, but I only did it for my own personal preference. Relocated the ESC to the top deck, relocated the switch, upgraded servo, steering arm, steering horn, and shoe glue the center diff, which I don't recommend. I only did it for my own self, just to see how well it performed. And upgraded all steel 17 tooth pinion gear. And if you notice the mesh adjustment, dead on perfect. That's basically it, guys. Oh yeah, one more thing. The tires. I highly recommend you guys upgrading the tires to something good. This tire is a Proline Badlands 3.8 Desperados, and they've been really good to me. I had them originally on my Generation 1 Cheetah, and it performed really good. So good that I decided to put it on my DHK Maximus, since I've done all this stuff to it already, just to see how well it does. So that's basically it, guys. I'm gonna take this out for a little test run soon. Right now the weather's pretty warm, and I'm afraid I might overheat something, either the motor, the ESC, and yeah, you know, heat is not really good for your RC car. It's always good to run it on cool weather, but hey, you never know, I might just go out and test it. But anyways, that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and as always, cheers.